And we're live. Hello and welcome to the 145th episode of HEX Therapy Live. I'm your host, Maddie ALLin, and I've got a great show for you tonight. I've just made HEX history today by doing a 55-year-long HEX stake using Time Pays Me. I'm going to show you the evidence of that. I put it onto a physical coin too. So I'm going to show you the evidence of that, and we're going to do another time lock for 55 years of a HEX stake that's a drip and that's earning APY, all on the show tonight. And then I'll talk about what's been going on in the Pulse and HEX ecosystem. So I'm glad you've tuned in for the 145th week in a row. Hit the like and subscribe button. Welcome to HEX Therapy Live.
It's from Maddie ALLin of HEX Therapy Live. I like Maddie. Maddie tries to make the world a healthier place. He's a mental health professional. He's done research.
Makes videos on sudden wealth syndrome.
There's nothing that a human being could do better than try and heal his fellow man.
Maddie ALLin's got that covered. He does emotional, feel-good, mind management, emotion stuff, like, as his gig, because he's a therapist. That's what he does for a living. Like, he helps heal people.
So some people are down due to the price of HEX and Pulse Chain not being at all-time highs. But look, it's when the streets are bloody that Warren Buffett says you're supposed to fill your bags. For me, I'm just about all filled up. I've got a vehicle for sale now, and well, it's not the DeLorean yet, but another vehicle. But look, we're in a bear market. This is the longest bear market in crypto history. I used to tune into YouTube during my first bear market to get hope and inspiration and learn about the tech. What's that? Oh yeah, the tech. Why some people are in it. And so I was thinking to myself today, I was like, I don't think I've actually ever made a 55-year HEX stake, even though I invented a tool to allow you to do that. And well, it's actually a combination of tools. And so, yeah, because I know I've time locked 1% of my Pulse and 1% of my PulseX for 55 years on a drip, but I wasn't aware that anybody had done a 55-year HEX stake with DESI. So you're not just dealing with liquid HEX, you're earning like 36% APY or whatever all along the way. And then because it's a perpetual contract, it auto renews based on a smart contract. And so literally this is the only 55-year T-share that I know of in existence. And it's definitely the only one that's been put onto a physical coin like this. And, you know, that's one of my favorite things to do, is to not just look at my phone or look at my computer and admire my crypto, which I say is a joke because, like, you know, crypto is more useful than just looking at it and admiring it. But some of it, sometimes investing does come down to admiring the tickers in your 401k or in your stock market fund, right? So that's kind of ironic and silly. But and if you don't believe me that crypto has value in the real world, then you'll be excited to learn about the other breaking news, the other piece of history that it looks like the behavioral lock part of Time Pays Me may have just gone live today. So that's pretty exciting. I thoroughly played with it on testnet, and but it's I think been like less than an hour or two since the behavioral lock portion of Time Pays Me went live. So that's definitely historic as well. But let's dive into what I did here with the 55-year HEX stake as the title suggests. So I'm going to try to break this down for our super advanced viewers here. So I created the first 55-year hex stake on a physical coin using P-Deci, which is the part of the Maximus DAO. It's a tokenized perpetual hex stake. What that means is I can buy and sell Deci at any time as long as there's liquidity there. And we'll look at that. But I think my $200 buy pushed the price 3% or something. So that's, I mean, that is like a decent amount of slippage. But the advantage to this over holding liquid hex is that the Deci, the Maximus Decimus contract, is earning hex yield. And it's actually oftentimes trading at a discount compared to the underlying hex assets. And so this is a way, you can imagine, like with staked Ethereum, you're earning APY, and but you also have liquid tokens. And this has already been done a long time before Ethereum did it in the Maximus DAO. And so shout out to Dipcatcher and everybody who Gold Key, everybody who is working to make the Maximus DAO a reality. The Deci stands for a 10-year hex stake. And so I just signed myself up for 5.5 cycles of a 10-year stake. And so that's pretty fascinating if you ask me. The stake ends in 2078. This was a time lock that I did using Time Pays Me on Pulse Chain. And in the tweet here, I linked the YouTube video here where I'm explaining it. And I also linked the vault address. So I'm going to drop that in the chat here. A drip, somebody's asking, a drip is where the coins are becoming unlocked over time based on the amount of time that you've served. So for example, if I did a 1-year lock, with my Time Pays Me drip, then if I served a week, I would be able to withdraw 2% of the coins that I locked, because a week is about 2% of a year. If I were to lock some coins for 10 years, then if I served a week, I would be able to get 0.2% out, because a week is about 0.2% of 10 years. So that's what a drip is. Great question. It's not always obvious. Is Time Pays Me up and running? Yes. Now it is completely up and running. We've already had, I think I calculated on a stream that I did with Ben Cage yesterday, which you should definitely check out on his channel. I think we've had about 7.5 billion RH tokens locked between Pulse and PulseX on Time Pays Me total. So that's pretty exciting. Definitely can go higher and higher, I think, in the amount that's locked based on people seeing and hearing that it's up and running, and it's starting to click for people. That's why I did this 55-year stake. It was like $200 that I put, and I did like a third of it as a hard lock for 55 years. And now I'm going to do the other 2/3 of the Deci. I'm going to do a lock live that'll be a drip for 55 years. So let's see. So that's the tweet that I shared. Here's on gopulse.com. Under portfolio, I added the address for the physical coin, and we'll talk about what that is and how it works and all that. But I added the address for that, and then I added the address for the vault, the Time Pays Me vault, which is a smart contract that you hold self-custody of. And yeah, so for about like 0.12 ETH, which was about $200, I was able to buy 25,000 P-Deci tokens. So that's Deci on Pulse chain. And I think Go Pulse is rounding up here. I think it's about 2.5 T shares, because when I go and look on HEX daily stats, my screen is not switching. Let me switch it. There we go. This way you guys will get to see everything I'm talking about. So yeah, so we got gopulse.com/portfolio, and I added the 2 addresses here that are associated with this coin and with the smart contract on Time Pays Me. On Pulse chain, the hex price for historical purposes here is about 0.8 of a penny. The T-share price for a 1-day T-share is $236. We can divide that by 3, and that'll tell us the price of a T-share if we're doing a 10 or a 15-year stake. 236 divided by 3 is a $78 T-share right now. Beautiful. And the payout per T-share right now is 6.5 hex. We'll be able to look at that in a more significant way when we go back to the portfolio tracker. But here's what we're looking for. The T-share price is 29,000 hex. So again, if we divide that by 3, we're going to get to see how much it is for a 10 to 15-year hex stake. And I can do the mental math there. It's not hard. If a T-share is about 30,000 hex, then doing a 10 or 15-year T-share is going to cost 10,000 hex, which is actually what it started at for a 1-day T-share on day 1 of hex. Now we're on day 1376. And of course, you would have divided the 10,000 hex by 3 if you wanted to see what a 10 or 15-year T-share would cost you back then on day 1, which of course would have been 3,333 hex. So the T-share rate has tripled in about almost 4 years, 3.75 years, we could say. So that's pretty incredible. But so anyway, I did, let's see if I can pull up my Time Pays Me. So let's see if I can make this look better. There we go. So I'm just going to show you my time lock down here where I did 10,000 Deci, which was locked today. And my unlock date is July 4th. So it was just a little bit under 55 years. If anybody wants to challenge me and do an extra month, and then you'll hold the title for the longest one. But I figured it would be easier for me to keep track of all my different time locks, especially the hard lock ones, if they're coming out on the anniversary of when Time Pays Me launched, which was July 4th, 2023. And so I have this hard lock of 10,000 Deci coming out on July 4th of 2078, the year 2078. And yeah, there it is. So cool. So we got that. And then I went ahead and from my wallet, which is this physical coin that I have, the physical coin is called a cold storage coin. I got a picture of it here. And it on one side has the graphic of Ethereum. On the back side, it has a public key and a tamper evident sticker, and underneath that is the private key. So these are available from this website that I linked in the description below for only like $10 each, which is pretty cool. And you can buy it using crypto or fiat. I don't think I've ever shared the link for this before, but definitely very cool. I like having a nice little stack of coins. The problem before Time Pays Me came out was that you couldn't trust putting too much money on these coins, because somebody could have kept the private key from underneath it, because you didn't make the private key. You normally wouldn't trust it, but with Time Pays Me, I can assign a second seed phrase, and I can take ownership of what's on there in the case that anybody ever tries to hack the coin. So it's like, that's a really huge technical improvement. Maybe not everybody will be as excited about it as I am, but I've been using these coins for years, and I am super excited for the, to have this security feature now with Time Pays Me. Now I kind of know of the guy who makes these, and he's the guy who designed the Bitcoin logo. He's not Satoshi, but he was that early to Bitcoin that he designed the Bitcoin logo with like the circuit board, basically, that it's on top of. So I figure he's probably not going to try to rob me, but just in case, Time Pays Me is one way to verify that that would not be possible. So basically what I did is I lifted the sticker off the back of this coin. I typed in the 40 characters or whatever it is into MetaMask, where I'm importing an external wallet. And then you have to actually double check to make sure you didn't enter something wrong. You have to check to make sure that the address on the sticker, the Ethereum public address, matches the Ethereum public address that gets imported into MetaMask. Because if you got one character wrong and the checksum didn't catch it, then you would be creating a wallet that doesn't have a backup like this does. This is, my backup, because my online version that I imported into MetaMask is the one that I'm making transactions with. And then the physical coin is fireproof and everything. So I've got 2 copies at that point, and basically, yeah. So and then I can set up a second seed phrase with Time Pays Me. So yeah, so I did that. So I transferred from, well, when you go to timepays.me, you can connect, and then you can create a vault, and then the vault has its own address here. Then you transfer your tokens. I left like a little bit of dust from Deci just so it'll be more apparent what was happening there. Like that there are coins in this address. If I were to die in the next 55 years, if I don't live into my mid 90s or my late 90s, then somebody's going to have to figure out what's going on with this time lock. So I transferred almost all of the Deci. I transferred like 25,000 into the vault here, and I left some pulse in the coin wallet, like 500,000 or something, 659,000. But I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the Deci here. I'm going to do the rest of the Deci. I'm going to time lock it on a drip for the 55 years or whatever, 54.7. So there is a 0.1% fee, not too bad. Probably less than the gas fees I'm going to spend on all this. The lock mode being normal is a drip. A hard lock is no drip. And a behavior lock is brand new. That's something that we'll talk about in a future episode. That's really exciting. So the lock mode is going to be normal, so I can have a drip with this one. And then I can click here on the year. I can zoom forward as far as it'll let me go, 2078. And then I'm going to go back to July 4th just for fun. Actually, no, I'm going to go as far as it'll go, because I don't want anybody front running me on this history. So, all right, September 7th, 2078. At this time, 7:57 p.m. Central Time. I'm going to hit lock. It's a drip anyway, so it's not like I won't be able to take some out along the way. You're about to lock 15,000 deci until September 7th, 2078. I'm going to hit confirm. It's popping up in MetaMask that you can't see. I'm paying a 1 penny fee, 198 pulse. And the blockchain is going to confirm it. So yeah, and more about the Maximus DAO. They have a summary of all of their products at the website bento, bento.me/Maximus DAO. I'm gonna share that in the chat here. Then I'm also gonna share their Twitter, because I really appreciate them making a 10-year perpetual tokenized HEX stake. Very cool. And then let's see. Okay, so this second time lock on the coin was created, 15,000 deci time locked, and that'll start dripping after about 48 hours. I'll start to have the first drip, because I have to serve like 1/10,000th of the time, and it just so happens that 2 days is about 1/10,000th of a 55-year time period. So I'm not going to be able to get the deci back right away, but that's the whole point of it, is to lock it up and to set a new record. So this physical coin here now has a 55-year hard lock and a 55-year drip on it, and those are going to be earning trustless APY all along the way. What do you think of that? So definitely check out timepays.me in your MetaMask browser. And yeah, so let's go back and see like what this is yielding down on the bottom of the gopulse.com/portfolio. You can see where from this amount of deci, we're getting 18 cents worth of HEX per day, about 22 HEX. Does that sound right? If we have 2.5 T shares, and well, actually, the deci is holding more HEX than just 10,000 per T share. That's interesting. Yeah, because the T share rate was lower back then, and it's already accumulated some HEX. So I'm going to trust this a little bit more than than my own mental math on like how much a T share costs these days. Every week I'm getting $1.24 out of my, like, technically it says it's worth $300. $270 worth of deci. Yeah, but I think I only put 200 in, so maybe that is like the spread of how well it's doing or something. Anyway, coming back down here, 153 HEX per week, per month, 666 HEX. Yikes. And per year, I'm getting 8,000 HEX from this. That is a lot of HEX. That's a lot of HEX. So cool. Yeah, and that's like the 33%, right? Because 8K goes into about 25K about 3 times. So all of that checks out. It's a beautiful thing. The number of T shares will decrease every 10 years in the underlying asset, but that won't really affect my deci, because there's going to be fewer T shares in existence at that point. And so you would imagine that the the amount of hex per T-share would be going up with end stake penalties and with people rebuying T-shares at higher prices, even though the 10-year stake will retokenize. It will restake, basically. It won't retokenize, it'll restake. So yeah, how exciting is that? Very cool, very cool. So yeah, I think that's all I really wanted to show there. A physical coin with a drip. That's pretty cool. I feel your excitement. Hey, thanks. What's up, Future Us? Good day. Yeah, a lot less T-share in total. Hex's secret sauce. That's right. Yeah, and you know, if the price of Hex was way higher, if it was 100x higher in 10 years, or 100x lower, it dropped another 99% in 10 years. I feel like it'd be pretty hard for people to rebuy all their T-shares. That's something we've already seen with Hex in the past. So for me, this $200, $300 is locked in. These 2.5 or 3 T-shares, they're locked in. So that's pretty cool. That's something that hasn't existed yet. There's never been a way to hold on to your T-shares for more than 15.2 years until now. And I really hope that the Maximus DAO creates a 15.2 year perpetual tokenized hex stake, because I think that that would add more liquidity than Pool Party would, although I still want to learn more about Pool Party. And definitely the Maxi token, their original creation of a tokenized hex stake, was not a perpetual contract. And so the 10-year is the longest perpetual. I really hope that they come out with a 15.2 year perpetual, because that would make a lot more sense for people who are wanting to take a multi-hex cycle perspective or a multi-T-share cycle perspective. Cool. So that's what we've got there. And what else is going on here? Let's see. I'm going to check Twitter and I'm going to see what have I been tweeting about. What has everybody else been tweeting about? What do I have to say about it? Yeah, if you didn't see my stream with Ben Cage, I'll try to link to it at the end, although sometimes YouTube has been not allowing me to edit the end because it's processing for like a day. So typically I do put a lot of energy into making those end screens something useful, into definitely putting the description as something useful. But yeah, let me go ahead and link that stream with Ben Cage in the live chat. And if you're watching on replay, you can still access the live chat. But yeah, I did talk about more of the concepts behind the behavioral lock in Time Pays Me, because that's something that's never existed before. I think it could be the killer app for crypto. I know that that's a big statement, but it was a big statement whenever I said that Time Pays Me could allow you to undo a hack under certain circumstances. And I've proven that, because I put my own $10,000 on the line and nobody was able to hack me, even David Feeder. Shout out to him for trying, because I appreciate him. So there's the stream with Ben Cage. Thanks, Future Us, for saying that that was a good stream. Yeah, definitely worth a watch. Yeah, and in that stream, I'm talking about how you know, there's 3 functions of money currently. I mean, if you look it up on Wikipedia, they might give you a 4th that's like, you know, talking about the 3rd one twice or something. But basically, you have a store of value, a unit of account, and a medium of exchange. Those are 4 pieces of the puzzle to what is money. What Time Pays Me is doing is it's adding a 4th dimension of being able to motivate yourself by paying yourself and holding yourself accountable with a smart contract and with somebody who can validate your behavior. And so it's bringing together these pieces of something that's never existed before in programmable money. Richard Hart, he loves to say, Bitcoin was supposed to be programmable money, but it never lived up to its potential. It never delivered on that promise because he gives the example, you can't program Bitcoin to wake you up in the morning. Well, with Time Pays Me, you could use wrapped Bitcoin to wake yourself up in the morning, as long as you have a behavior validator around. And so, I don't know. Should I demo that? I can show you guys kind of like what it. Let me see. Let me see if I can switch to testnet and show you guys what it looks like to create a behavior lock. Here we go. Switching over to Pulse Chain Testnet v4. Now it's available on mainnet, of course, but I'm going to show you on testnet for now. Let me see, sharing my window here. So here's a wallet. It's got some test pulse in it in the vault already. And so I'm going to put 100 test pulse, and I'm going to change the lock mode to behavioral lock. And then I have to name the behavior lock. And I think I only have like 31 characters to do so. And so my big idea that I had recently on the stream with Ben was that I think a really cool behavior goal for myself would be to write the first chapter of a book about Time Pays Me, about why it has significance in economics and crypto history. Because I like writing, but I'm not always motivated to do it. And so if I could pay myself $1,000 or $2,000 to write the first chapter of the book, that might be a really good demonstration of how powerful this is. Certainly would be a good demonstration to me. So with these like test locks, I've just been like labeling it, write book chapter. Let's say I'm going to write chapter 2. And then I would hit lock, and then it's going to tell me you're about to lock 100 PLS for a year. Because remember, if I don't complete the behavior goal, then I can use the blockchain to unlock the funds after a year anyway. That's like the fail-safe mode. And so this link here is what I would copy and paste and send to my behavior validator, the person who's going to keep track of the 6-digit code, who's going to validate that I've completed my behavior goal, whatever it is. And so I'm going to paste that into a notepad here. And then I'm going to hit confirm. It's going to pop up in MetaMask. You can't see. It's going to cost a fraction of a penny in test pulse. And then it's going to confirm on the blockchain. I think it's going to give me one more chance to copy this address before this address will never be found again. You can't get back to it, right? Because you're saying if you screw this up, then you're waiting for a year. So let's copy that again just for good measure and then hit done. Let me show you guys. So then we can see down here, I did 5,555 PLS back. I tested this a couple weeks ago, and I said that I would stream weekly for 1 month. So we're not there yet. Got another 3 weeks before somebody can validate my behavior there. And if I try to claim the money there, I am going to say that I don't know what the 6-digit code is, but if I put a bogus code in there, and I try to unlock, it's going to say the PIN code is invalid. So it's not going to let me unlock the funds. until it's been a year, and then any 6-digit code I put in would work to unlock it. But here, let's look at the Write Book Chapter 2. So if we go to the website that the behavior validator would go to, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to show the tag of what the goal was, Write Book Chapter 2. It's going to say how much time there's left. This was a year-long lock. And if I click this button to reveal the 6-digit code, then it'll show me the 6-digit code. So if I had written the second book chapter and we weren't on testnet and I actually was sending this to somebody, they would, and they don't have to have MetaMask. They don't have to know anything about crypto. This is actually a way to onboard people into crypto, and for them to see that it's more than just about getting rich. It could be about getting behavioral yield. It could be you're creating a healthier life for yourself. So when you go out and recruit a behavior validator, somebody in your life who's going to prove that you changed your behavior, you adopted a healthy habit, whatever it is, they're going to be participating in crypto, and they might want to start doing crypto because they see you getting healthier and happier and hopefully richer. But if not, hopefully you time locked or you behavior locked your stable coins, basically, is one thing I would recommend. So if I get the code here, so let's pretend I'm the behavior validator. I'm going to copy this pin code and send it back to the person who changed their behavior. They're going to plug it in to the claim button here. And you don't have to wait a year to claim your funds if you changed your behavior. The funds become unlocked immediately. It takes you 7 days to cash them out because of the undo a hack feature, or you can immediately relock the funds to create another behavior goal. So I'm going to demonstrate this, and I'm going to paste in the real unlock code, and then you'll be able to see that the funds actually become unlocked here on testnet and mainnet. So the blockchain is verifying that I've put in the right PIN code here. Great to see you. Your friend Sami. Great to see you, Maddie. The community is strong. We like you showing how to use Time Pays Me. It will be fantastic when a staked PLS product exists later. Exactly. And, we already have Desi, which is going to give you yield along the way. And now this behavior lock technology has just come out today. This is a brand new feature that's never existed before in crypto or the history of programmable money, where you can set a behavior goal and you can pay yourself, the person who validates to the blockchain that you changed your behavior, the behavior validator, if they have the code, the unlock code, they can't run away with your money. So this is a self-custody situation. Very cool. Very crypto. Here's a great question. What happens when you run the computer time forward? Nothing. Well, it's not going to unlock the crypto because that's based on the time that's proven on the blockchain. It might screw up the front end a little bit, but if the front end doesn't have the right time, then the contract would fail, or you'd get a gas error or some sort of error that would prevent you from writing inaccurate data to the blockchain. That's how I would describe it. So there you have it. You could pay yourself right now on mainnet to do any behavior change. And for me, it might be that I pay myself $1,000 to $2,000 to write the first chapter of a book about Time Pays Me. Other people might decide to pay themselves $1,000 to quit smoking for a month. And I think that we're gonna, as a Time Pays Me community, people are gonna need to practice setting goals, and you want to start small, and maybe I'll do some streams to give you a little bit of behavior change advice, not financial advice, but behavior change advice about setting a goal that's achievable and measurable. But at the end of the day, if you lock up your money and you keep a copy of the link, you can unlock it at any time. You could write a computer program maybe to cheat and to guess all the PIN codes. That wouldn't help you change your behavior. And there's just enough response effort that it's probably not going to be too easy for people to do something like that. But this isn't designed to be impossible to break. It's because if you cheat, you're just back to where you started. Plus, you set a goal and you gave it a try. So you're even farther along than when you started. So yeah, I think it's really cool. And I can't wait to show it off. I can't wait to try to popularize this form of behavior change. Because remember, contingency management has the strongest effect size out of any intervention in psychology, including talk therapy. And so what people normally think of when they go to a psychologist is they have to open up to somebody else in talk therapy. And talk therapy works great for a lot of issues, but the science and research says that the strongest effect size, what has more of an effect or for more people, is based on paying people to change their behavior. And we already live in a world that's so focused on other people paying us. Sometimes it might not even make sense to think that you could use your savings to motivate your behavior, right? If I'm going to hold on to $2,000 worth of fiat anyway, why wouldn't I want to use that as motivation fuel for myself, for my behavior changes, for the goals that I'm just not that motivated to go after? I think it's going to be really cool. I can't wait to see how other people use it. What's stopping you from looking at your own code? Nothing. But again, as I just explained, why would you set yourself up to cheat? And if you needed to cheat, then maybe that's okay. For me, I think if I really wanted it, if I was trying to change my behavior and it wasn't working because I kept a copy of the code, I think I would just not keep a copy of the code. I would text it to whoever's going to validate my behavior that I wrote a book chapter, or maybe 2 people I would assign to that role. And then I would delete the text. And so they would be the only ones with a copy of it. He's allowed to cheat. It's his money after all. If it were me, maybe I'd delete a copy of the code after I sent it. Well, Future Us is reading my mind. No wonder he earned his name there. Correct. In terms of clock forwarding, you can't cheat that way. And this is built on top of time locking technology that works for any ERC or PRC20 token, including Ethereum and Pulse Chain. And people have seen me do time locks, which I believe is the first example of a behavior change intervention on the blockchain, because people, when they've been time locking HEX or time locking anything using Time Pays Me, they've been changing their savings behavior. Now, starting today, you can choose other behaviors to change other than just your savings plan. Do you think RH and Coinbase will form an alliance against the SEC? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Imagine a HEX listing on Coinbase because they listen to RH's Twitter legal advice and win. I am going this weekend to a conference where Brian Armstrong is speaking. And you better believe that I will go into the bathroom or the elevator or the hallway or wherever he's at and try to start up a conversation without being too weird. And I would love to onboard him into HEX. I would love to pitch the idea of Time Pays Me, the idea of paying your future self. I would love for him to stop gatekeeping HEX. I don't know if that's like the first outcome would be like him teaming up with Richard legally. However, I like what you're thinking. I like how you're thinking. And who knows? Maybe he will see a post by Richard concerning crypto legalities and he'll join Team Win. That'd be pretty cool. Maddie, glad you're still here in the deepest of the bear. It takes strength to keep the consistency. Cheers to you. Hey, thanks, Ash. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's definitely not easy, and my bags are down and dead, and that's okay because as you can see from this episode, I'm fascinated by the tech. I've been trying to make a behavior lock on the blockchain for 7.5 years. Part of the problem was there was no network with cheap fees. And part of the problem was I didn't know enough about programming. And part of the problem was I didn't know that time locking or doing any form of behavior change would ever have a proof of concept like it did with HEX and the HEX community. So there you go. Yes, I gave the crypto professor, locked Deci on a physical coin about a month ago or something. And yeah, that was locked for 30 years because, that's how long, like the longest type of US bond is, I believe. So yeah, that is really interesting. I messaged him today to see if he wants to do a stream with me next week on Friday. And I saw that he's streaming tomorrow with Crispy Man of hexfire.io, who, of course, is a regular on the Tuesday night Game Theory Gang show. And I'm thrilled that Crispy Man is going to be streaming with the crypto professor, the crypto skeptic turned Hex lover, because Crispy Man is one of the best people in the community, probably the best person for looking at the numbers and bringing transparency from on-chain data. And so if you haven't checked out hexfire.io, what are you waiting for? Everyone should pray for Maddie's conference encounters to go well, even if you're not spiritually minded. Couldn't hurt. Hey, I appreciate it. That means a lot. I instead of business cards, I got something else here. I got physical poker chips. They don't have any crypto built on them, but they have my Twitter and my logo. They also have Time Pays Me. It says contingency self-management, x.com/time pays me. The conference that I'm going to is hosted by the ALLin podcast, which is the most popular financial podcast in the world right now. And their intro theme is poker cards and chips flying all around. So I think with this crowd, I am going to crush it when it comes to interpersonal engagement. I hope. That's the plan. Abundance Man, good to see you there, and great meeting you a couple months ago. Diving into Hex. I just put a Hex logo on the bottom of my pool. Wow, very cool. I didn't know Crispy Man streamed on his own channel. Absolutely. Everybody should subscribe. I believe his channel is called hexfire.io. And that, of course, stands for not just fire, like you're burning your hex and creating T-shares, but financial independence, retire early. I do have an agenda. Mr. Beast is going to be there too. I would almost rather run into Mr. Beast than Brian Armstrong because I think this sell would be way easier. Hey, you're a philanthropist. You probably know what it feels like to have sudden wealth syndrome. How cool is it that we have this new thing that we created on the blockchain that allows people to stop being lazy, stop having sudden wealth syndrome, allows you to pay your future self. I feel like I could, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I'm just going to be confident. I'm going to say, I feel like I could convince him to make a video and, do some co-promotion, right? Of Time Pays Me, of this idea that you can now use money as motivation, and it aligns with you having your savings goals and all kinds of stuff like that. So I think at first the way I'm going to use Time Pays Me behavior locking is going to be with stable coins. And the time locking, I'm not going to use stable coins. I don't want to lock my USDC for 10 years. I don't want to lock my DAI for 10 years because that would just be suffering inflation. That would be like throwing money down the toilet, the digital toilet, right? But when it comes to time locking Pulse or PulseX, I was explaining, or DESI or anything, Ethereum, I was explaining to Ben Cage how powerful it is to have protection to the upside in crypto. When you're in crypto, you suffer so much wild volatility that it's almost as if you don't have any protection to the downside. The thing that you buy might drop 70% or 99%. So just like a lottery ticket, or like a couple stocks that I've invested in, some futures contracts, stuff like that, they can go to zero, and it's not uncommon. But the thing that crypto can do that some other investments can't is it can go up where Bitcoin used to be 6 cents, and then it went up to 30 cents, and then it went up to $69,000 per coin. So wouldn't it be awesome if you even took 1% or 50% of your Bitcoin, if you're Greg Schoen and you actually did provably buy Bitcoin at 6 cents, he sold it all at 30 cents. He sold on a 5X. He turned his $100 into $500. And he could have been a deca millionaire, and he could have been retired if he had only locked his $100 of Bitcoin, if he had just locked it for 15 years, is the math that I did on that one. So having protection to the upside is important. Also, being on a drip is kind of cool because then it's like getting a weekly paycheck. And imagine if Greg, the way that I modeled his math was if he had sold every month. With Time Pays Me, you can sell every month if you want to, or up to weekly. Let's see. Oh, wow. Mr. Beast. That would be epic. If he gets it, I hear he's kind of particular in these parts. He's kind of popular in these parts. Yeah. Mr. Beast is the number one YouTuber in the world, the number one content creator. And yeah, he reinvests all of his money into making videos and specializes in giving away cars and doing streams that are, or doing videos that are extremely high production value and extremely philanthropic. Yes. So there you go. And maybe I'll make him one of these physical coins, and that way I can give him a sample of what's going on. So there you go. Kind of a historic day today because we launched the behavior locking portion of Time Pays Me. I ran through that a little bit today. Also, kind of a historic day as well because I did my first 55-year hard lock of a HEX stake on a physical coin. So that's pretty cool. We are in the bear market. It sucks. I feel for everybody who's been going through it. Let's see. What else do I have? Do I have any other topics here that that are worth mentioning? Probably. There's always a lot going on in the HEX Impulsion ecosystem. I don't know where we are in macro. We could be at the bottom, or we could have farther to fall. It just comes down to a game of chicken with the Fed, and it's like hard for me in crypto to measure how everybody else in the world is doing in terms of basically the Fed wants to eliminate people having enough money to continue to raise the price of everything. And it's the Fed who created the extra money, and they gave it out to themselves, and they got to buy everything at yesterday's prices, and everybody else has to buy at tomorrow's prices. So that's definitely theft. But in terms of how they maneuver their policy, are they going to raise interest rates to 10%? Like the median in the past, or are they going to drop it back down to 0? We don't know. But part of what they're waiting on is to see whether the NFT bros like crash so hard that they don't have enough money to buy groceries, then they have to go back to work. That happening in crypto literally, and also in the stock market with like people who gained a lot of paper value from the COVID run up on asset prices, people who bought multiple homes and stuff like that. If the Fed doesn't beat down asset prices and crypto prices enough, then it will lead to continued inflation, especially when they start the money printing again. Then the value of assets will soar even more. And so that's why you have this longest bear market in crypto history. In my opinion, that's why interest rates are kind of uncertain at this time, because they're looking at unemployment, but they're looking at inflation. And inflation, as I said, is partially based on how rich people are and you know how much paper money people have versus producing goods and services and going back to work, the people who benefited from the last round of money printing. Yeah, there were some like popular crypto people, I guess, asking if HEX was dead, and Sami like ratioed them and showed them that they were the bottom signal before. That's kind of cool. Eric Wall chimed in and had like a really weird narrative as usual. It's like kind of spot on, but also kind of unfair. So yeah, I don't know. This guy has a huge reach. He promoted HEX by saying it was dead. He promoted it to 228,000 viewers. So thanks for your service, dude. And then yeah, Sami got 807 likes, where he showed this guy's tweet, Don Alt from 2020, where he said, "I'm sick of hearing about HEX." And we're up 14x from there. Even though we're down 99% from the top, we are still up 14x from where this guy was fudding HEX previously. And it went up 137x, but after he had fudded it, still up 14x. So crazy, beautiful. And that's not even apparently might not even be including all the yields that you would have gotten if you were time locked. It doesn't include EHEX and PHEX and all that. So really cool. And then, yeah, Eric Wall, like chiming in, also trying to bring 106,000 views to like the Hex ecosystem. It's funny because like he wrote this whole essay and then like one of his friends was like, bro, what are you doing? You promised to like not keep posting about Hex. And he, Eric replied, well, he was the one who was silly enough to keep up with the dumpster fire. So he wanted to be the one to report. So he is still watching closely. He's still in love with Richard, like a 13-year-old girl who says that, says that they hate somebody. Yeah, like basically like Eric Wall is like a junior high person, basically, is like that's how he rolls. So Hex is not dead, as evidenced by Sami showing that basically last time Don Alt said it was dead. It then went on a 130x run. So beautiful. Let me see what else I have here. Okay. Hex Toys is coming out with a Humble Heart 1-of-1 action figure. That's pretty cool. Pulse Lorian made a league system to show how much pulse you would need to be all these different sea creatures. I also saw they're showing that on gopulse.com. That's new. And I haven't actually done the math here to see if this is like the same system that Sticker Up was using. But basically it's showing how much hex this is how much pulse you would need in order to be these different leagues, which were originally based on having 10% of the supply, 1% of the supply, 0.1%, 0.01%, so on and so forth. And here they're showing that a Poseidon has $500 million worth of pulse, 13 trillion. A whale has 54 million, 1.35 trillion pulse. A shark has $5.4 million worth of pulse, 135 billion. A dolphin has $500,000 worth of pulse, 13 billion. Wow. A squid has 54K, 1.35 billion. A turtle has $5.4 thousand worth of pulse. It's 135 million. A crab is $536 at 13 million pulse. A shrimp is $54 with 1.35 million. And a silent shell, I guess that's what this account is. Because I only have, well, I should have more. I should be, well, I guess I don't have enough to be a shrimp because it's this physical coin got about 500,000 pulse on it. Hopefully that'll pay the fees. So that's new. That's interesting. That's something that we didn't have yesterday or the day before or whatever. Let me see what other tweets I've got for you. Oh yeah, this is cool. Ben Sierra did a post showing when most hex buyers entered the USDC hex liquidity pools, and they have a weighted entry price ranging from 3 to 3.5 cents. Very interesting. So people aren't down 99% on average. Some people are who bought the top and didn't dollar cost average down or time lock. But in general, most people did time lock or dollar cost average or not only buy the top. Coinbase, their chain base had stopped producing blocks. The same day I got my 7-day unlock period for Coinbase. They copied Time Pays Me, and they have a 7-day waiting period to withdraw. And I had waited my 7 days on the same day that they had stopped producing blocks, and they got it back going again half a day later or something, and I got my money out back to Ethereum. There you go. But it also highlighted how great Pulse Chain is not having downtime. There was somebody, oh wow, there was a Coinfessions that said that they were devastated to admit that they lost their entire life savings of 250K in HEX and Pulse Chain. The weight of shame is crushing. And this got 450,000 views. So a huge huge number of people being able to see that. And again, it's negative press. I wonder if this person had made $250,000 in crypto, or whether they had made that in fiat and then they had put it in. I hope it was the former, that that these were paper gains that somebody had and not, but it's still heartbreaking. It sucks. This is the nature of crypto. Bitcoin and Ethereum have both like crashed over 90% in their histories. So, you know, we just, we want everybody to be safe out there and to use, like use whatever mental health resources are available to you. Definitely, I know that some people have been suicidal due to poor investments in the past. And so I'd encourage anybody who's feeling that way to reach out to your local 911 or to your local crisis hotline. Unfortunately, I'm not able to respond or to know that I'll catch your message, but there are trained professionals out there that can help. And there's actually, I was thinking of doing like our cross promotion with a mental health app that I've been testing out. And I actually met the founder of this app, and it's really cool. So if you're looking to check something out, it's called thestigma.app. Drop the link here. The stigma.app, and it's on the app stores. They won a Google award at one point for being a mental health app. On there, you go on and you create your profile based on, first of all, you don't have to even put your last name, so that's kind of cool. You sign up with your phone number and your email, I think, and then they allow you to choose the different conditions that may apply to you and the different conditions where maybe you have some caretaking experience. And then you'll be able to view both professional and individual user requests for support and where people have responded. And it's all whitelisted. So basically they have to approve to make sure it's not something that's mentally harmful to somebody. But I thought that their curation was really good. I posted on there an example of something that somebody would have as a problem, and there were many people who responded in a supportive and positive way. And so definitely go check out the stigma.app if you want to have more support of your mental health during these difficult times in crypto. Pulse Chain market cap is $500 million with 24-hour volume of $130,000. It has a circulating supply of 14 billion pulse, 14 trillion pulse, and a total supply of 135 trillion pulse. Okay, that sounds like it adds up. What else is going on in the crypto news here? Sam Bankman-Fried is in prison. He got caught writing computer code down. People were speculating as to whether it was like codes to his private keys or not. Probably not. Yeah, so there you go. Lots of stuff happening in crypto. What other rumors did I hear this week? I heard that KDP left the team she was working with, and now she's creating content independently. She's going to start a YouTube channel. That's pretty cool. Yeah, ain't no joke losing your life savings for sure. And so, yeah, I think there's lots of great streamers that you can be tuning into to keep your spirits up. That's how I made it through my first Bitcoin bear market, and how I dollar cost averaged, even when I was at max pain, when I was down 70% on my money, on my life savings, I still bought a little bit of Bitcoin because I was listening to people like Richard Hart and different Bitcoiners who were helping me to keep the faith. So that's why I'm trying to pay it forward and be consistent for you all to show up, to try to have a generally positive attitude from time to time, and to tell you what tech and what opportunities I'm excited about. As you saw today, I bought a $200 worth of HEX that's time locked, and so I'm in it for the long haul. How about you? Let's see if there's anybody we know streaming right now. Doesn't look like anybody from the ecosystem is streaming right now. So I'm going to point you guys back to my stream with Ben Cage, because I really think it's worth watching. There were 1,500 people who watched it. Those are rookie numbers. Let's get those numbers up. Somebody's asking, how should I diversify my birthday money between PDAI, Pulse Chain, and PulseX? I personally would not. I would say however you feel comfortable. It's going to depend on your age and how much savings you have and what your income is and all types of things. For me, maybe I would do 10% into PDAI and 40% into Pulse Chain and 40% into PulseX. Something like that. The verse, I don't promote him because he is associated with BankX, and I met the founder of BankX and determined that he was a scammer. And part of that is because you can't put silver coins on the blockchain. That's not possible. Also, his credit card got denied when somebody went to buy alcohol for the party for him. So that's also weird that like a Hexagon paid themselves for his party. So yeah, I don't know. If somebody has evidence to the contrary, then please enlighten me. But otherwise, really nice people, but I don't promote people who I think are trying to scam others. So here's the stream for Ben Cage and I. Great stuff. It was an hour and a half. We crushed it for an hour and a half together. So I see that there are less viewers than normal. And look, that's how I knew when the bottom was before Pulse Chain of HEX, when HEX went down to 1.7 cents, and then it jumped up later to 10 or 12 cents a few months later. The reason that I knew that 1.7 was a good place to DCA, I didn't really know it was the bottom at the time. But I did talk about it. I put it on my thumbnail. I, hypothesized that it could be. I speculated, and so viewership being down is an opportunity for some, as long as we make a comeback. So And as I said with the macro situation, I don't know. Look, Japan, their interest rates are negative 0.1%. Seriously? Well, it's because their currency is failing. It's lost like 40% this year, which is shocking to me. I just learned this today. And then you've got China also lost like 10% of the value of their currency. And I don't know what their interest rate is. I think it's way lower than ours at 5%. So it could go either way. It could be that that more money printing happens sooner, or maybe it happens later. But at the end of the day, I think for me, I wanted to dollar cost average. I wanted to make sure that I have enough money to live off of, to pay my bills and to live frugally. And if I have to start selling stuff, which I've begun the process of, that's what I'll do so that I can continue to have funds to to put online, to risk. And if it's, I don't invest money I'm not willing to lose, which is kind of a paradox, or it's kind of a silly thing to say, but it's important that you stay responsible with what you're doing, especially in such a volatile asset class. So yeah, that's all I've got for everybody tonight. Let me see here. So I'm probably going to meet Bristology. That'll be cool. We're going to hang out this weekend. Maybe we'll get a chance to stream together live. That'd be pretty cool, but no promises. And then I'll be back on Tuesday for Game Theory Gang. I'll actually still be in UCLA, so we'll see how that goes. The gang is still up for a stream because we don't want to break the 146-week streak that's been happening. And again, send a prayer and a wish for me that I get to meet Brian Armstrong and Mr. Beast this week, and all the other billionaires that are going to be there at the ALLin Summit. And go ahead and check out the description, the links in the description below on YouTube. I've packed that full of information about Deci, Maximus DAO, a physical crypto coin, Time Pays Me, the tweets that I've been making, my Telegram groups, which are free. t.me/smartvaultme is where I drop my daily alpha for free. And you can always get a Trezor, which is a hardware wallet, from the link in the description below. You pay the same price, but it helps support the channel. I really appreciate it. And until next time, stake wisely, my friends, and peace out.
From Maddie ALLin of HEX Therapy Live. I like Maddie. Maddie tries to make the world a healthier place. He's a mental health professional. He's done research.
Big videos on sudden wealth syndrome.
There's nothing that a human being could do better than try and heal his fellow man.
Maddie ALLin's got that covered. Does emotional, feel good, mind management, emotion stuff like as his gig, because he's a therapist. That's what he does for a living. Like, he helps heal people.